how the effective atomic number plays an important role while determining the complex stability and instability according to the Sidgwick theory. So in Sidgwick theory, according to the Sidgwick theory, the metal atom attain or accept the lone pair of electrons until it achieve next inert gas configuration, stable electronic configuration, that is the effective atomic number. Okay, so we have seen various examples how the complex obey or disobey the effective atomic number in last two lectures. So in today's lecture we are going to see how the Sidgwick theory has some merits, demerits. So first we will see the advantages or merits of the effective atomic number or Sidgwick theory. Okay, so very first is it helps to understand the tendencies of the metal to coordinate with certain number of ligands. In other words, we can predict coordination number of the metal. So what is the main application of this theory, Sidgwick theory or effective atomic number? That it helps to understand the tendencies of the metal to coordinate with a certain number of ligand. How the metal or how the ligand will coordinate with each other, that is known by this theory. So in other words, we can simply know how what is the exact coordination of the number of the metal. That is the main advantage of the effective atomic number. Then it explains the stability of many coordination compounds. The complexes which obeys the effective atomic number are considered to be stable according to the Weiss theory, according to the Sidgwick theory or effective atomic number. Always remember, if any compound obeys or follows the EAN rule, that compound is considered as a stable. Then these are the some of the advantages of Sidgwick theory. Now we will see the limitation of Sidgwick theory or effective atomic number. So the very first limitation of this complex is the complexes in the table show that effective atomic number rule cannot be uniform applied to all complexes. There are many exceptions to effective atomic number rule, so that it cannot be considered as a theory. So very first, what is the main base of this Sidgwick theory? That whether compound is obey or disobey the effective atomic number. So we have seen the several examples in our earlier lectures that there are several compounds which obey or disobey the effective atomic number. Though some of the complexes do not obey the effective atomic number, but still they are the stable. And how this controversy is there, that is not explained by the Sidgwick theory. So this is the one of the main limitation, that some of the there are some exceptions to the effective atomic number. So this theory is not considered. This theory has a limitation, that why the some complexes have the stability and why some don't have a instability. Though some of the compound don't obey the EN rule, effective atomic number rule, but still they are stable. And so this controversy is not explained by the Sidgwick theory. So this is one of the main limitation of this theory. Then many complexes are quite stable even though they do not obey the effective atomic number. That is what I already explained, that many complexes are stable though they do not obey the effective atomic number rule. And the ligands which donate the lone pair of electrons and metal accept the lone pair of electron. So due to this, it appears that there is an accumulation of negative charge on the metal ion. So this decreases the stability of complex. So according to Sidgwick theory, ligands donate the lone pair of electron and metal accept the lone pair of electron. Okay, but due to this, what happened? It appears that there is accumulation of the negative charge on metal ion, and this leads to the decrease of the stability of the complex. Then again, the non-bonding electron pair which is present in the 2s2 orbital of the nitrogen and oxygen, they do not have the bonding characteristic. So the 2s2 electron pair in NH3 and ammonia and water, they do not have the bonding characteristic. In many complexes such as fluoro or other bonds between the central metal ion and ligands are not covalent but predominantly ionic. So this is the one of the again limitation of the Sidwick model, that whenever the complex form between the fluorine or other complexes or fluoro or others, the bonds between the central ion and the ligands are not covalent but predominantly ionic. And very important again that it gives no idea about the geometry of the complex, whether the complex is tetrahedron, square planar, octahedral. That is what the geometries of the any compound complex ion is not described by the Sidwick model. So these are the some limitation of the Sidwick theory. Then we will see some examples, okay, final examples of the some of the complexes which may be asked in the examination. So these are the very important in the point of examination. So pentacarbonyl ion complex there is. So very first, what is the step to determine the effective atomic number? Very first we should know the atomic number of the metal, then its oxidation state we should know, that is how much electron it loses while forming a complex, okay, then the number of ligands, and then how many number of electron were donated by the ligands, and then summation of number of electron donated by the ligands plus number of electron present in the metal while forming a complex. Okay, so these are the some 5 rules which gives the correct effective atomic number of the complex. So very first we should know what is the electronic number of atomic number of ion. So you remember that series Skati Vakraman. This series is very important. Okay, always you write down this like Skati Vakraman Fe Ko Ni Kuzana. So this is the very important. So starting from 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Mostly this first transition series compound were asked. Okay, so you have to remember this atomic number, which is very important while calculating the effective atomic number. Okay, so the what is the atomic number of the ion? Now see here, ion's atomic number is 26. Okay, so the Z or atomic number of the electron, atomic number of the ion is 26. Then we should know its oxidation state. Now see in this complex, the oxidation state of ion is 0. That means while forming a complex with the carbonyl, the electron were lost by the ion is 0. There is no electron lost by the ion while forming this complex. So the number of electrons in the remains with the ion is 26. Okay, there is no electron loss. So the number of electrons donated by the 5 carbonyl ligands, 5 into 2 is equal to 10. Okay, so the total number of electron donated by the CO ligand is 10. So now we will see the summation of total number of electron associated with ion in the complex while forming complex is 26 plus 10 is equal to 36, and we know 36 is the atomic number of which inert gas atom? Krypton. Okay, so it obeys or it has the equal or equivalent electronic configuration to that of the krypton. So the atomic number of krypton is 36, so it obeys the effective atomic number. Okay, ion pentacarbonyl complex or pentacarbonyl ion complex, this complex obey the effective atomic number rule. Then next example is, that is the silver diamine argentate. Okay, this is the complex which is very important, how the this complex is whether obey or disobey the effective atomic number. So silver is not from belongs to the first transition series, that is, so we should know its atomic number. So the atomic number of silver is 47. So you have to memorize some of the atomic number of the metals. So here silver having atomic number 47. Now see the complex. So what will be the oxidation state of silver in this complex? So see, amine or ammonia is a neutral ligand, so it don't carry any charge. So the whatever the charge on the complex, that is the oxidation state of that particular metal ion. So now here silver complex charge having +1, so the silver's oxidation state is +1. So the number of electron in Ag plus is equal to 47 minus 1 is equal to 46. That means it indicates while forming a complex with amine, silver loses 1 electron. So now the total number of electrons with Ag plus is equal to 46. Now see here how many ligands are there? 2 ligands. 2 ligands donate 2 electron. 2 into 2 is equal to 4. So the number of electron donated by the two amine or ammonia ligands, 2 into 2 is equal to 4. So now total number of electron associated with silver in the complex is equal to 46 plus 4 is equal to 50. Okay. Now tell me the atomic number of 50. Whether it is belong to the inert gas configuration? No. Okay, so the atomic number 50 is of tin, and tin is not an inert gas. So this complex does not obey, or this violated the effective atomic number rule. So the AgNH32 plus, this is the complex which does not obey the effective atomic number rule. Then again another example, that is copper NH342 plus. Okay, tetraamine copper second. Okay, so this is the compound in which, now see again, central metal ion is copper and ligand present is ammonia. So how many ammonia are there? 4. Okay, now ammonia don't carry any charge, it is a neutral ligand. So that means the copper having a how much oxidation state? +2 oxidation state. Okay, so now by one we will solve this question. So first step is we should know the atomic number of the that particular metal ion. So what will be the atomic number of copper? So the atomic number of copper is 29. Okay, so the number of electrons in copper is at ground state level 29. Then second we should know the how many electron it loses while forming a complex. So that means it indicates its oxidation state. So we should know the oxidation state of copper. So now copper having a, in this complex, copper having a +2 oxidation state. So the number of electrons in copper 2 plus is equal to 29 minus 2 is equal to 27. So the how many electrons with the copper 2 plus? 27. So now the number of electrons donated by 4 NH3 ligands is equal to 4 into 2 is equal to 8. So the how many electrons were gained from the ligand side? 8 electrons. Okay, 4 into 2 is equal to 8. So now calculate the total number of electron associated with copper in the complex is 27 plus 8 is equal to 35, and we know the atomic number of krypton is 36. So the atomic number of 35 is of bromine, and bromine is belong to the halogen family, it does not belong to the inert gas family. So the complex copper NH342 positive does not obey the effective atomic number, or this is the so this compound is not stable according to the Sedgwick theory or effective atomic number rule. So there is again one example of palladium. Palladium forms a complex with the ammonia. So there are 6 ligands of the 6 molecules of the ammonia, and here is the oxidation state of metal is +4. So we should know the atomic number of the palladium, and it is 46. Okay, so these are the very important points or questions which may be asked in the exam. For that point of view, you should know the atomic number of silver, palladium, like this, and the first transition series you should know. Okay, so the atomic number of palladium is 46, and what is the oxidation state of palladium in this complex? That is 4. Okay, +4. So the number of electron loses by palladium while forming this complex is 4. So now the total number of electrons in palladium 4 plus is equal to 46 minus 4, which is equal to the 42 electron. So the how many electron with the palladium? 42. Then how many ligands are there? 6. Then and each ligand donate 2 electron. So the total number of electron donated by 6 ammonia ligands is equal to 6 into 2 is equal to 12 electrons. Okay. Each ligand donate how much? How many electron? 2 electron. Okay. So there are 6 ligands. That means 6 into 2 is equal to 12. So the total number of electron associated with palladium in the complex is equal to 42 plus 12 is equal to 54. So the we know and 54 atomic number is of xenon and it is the inert gas. So effective atomic number rule is obeyed, or we can say that according to the Sedgwick theory, the palladium NH36 4 positive complex is stable. Okay, so these are the some of the example. Then again, these are the some questions which are very important on the Sedgwick theory or this chapter. Okay, so what are the merits and demerits of the Sedgwick theory? This question may be asked. Then again you have to calculate for the homework or for practice. You should calculate the effective atomic number in the FeCN64 minus or chromium NH36 3 positive. These are the sum of the complexes which for the practice purpose you can solve the is whether the compound obey effective atomic number rule or not. Okay, so these are the some of the questions which are very important in the point of view of examination. So this is all about the Sedgwick theory. That is, Sedgwick theory gives us the whether the complex obeys the effective atomic number rule or not, and according to that it determines whether the complex is stable or unstable. If it obeys the effective atomic number rule, that means the complex is stable. If it don't obey the effective atomic number rule, that means complex is unstable.